Hello and welcome to another episode of Lore Walker's Manga Reviews. Today we will be reviewing the webtoon Pick Me Up. The story starts off with a bunch of characters being summoned to an unfamiliar location. A fairy-like creature named Izel appears and tells them that they have been summoned by the master. They must get ready to fight. One of the people summoned took a hostile stance towards the fairy and pointed his sword at her. At that moment, his head was sent flying and a notification popped up saying that he died, and his death was caused by stress. A party was formed to go to the next stage. The main character, Islat Han, suggested that they should be allowed to have weapons if they want to be able to succeed in climbing the tower. The fairy agreed and made a note to the master to get him to summon weapons. The first party went to fight the first stage, but they were annihilated almost immediately. The fairy says that the next party should get ready to enter. Han takes a shield and sword while Jenna takes a bow. She questions him about this place and Han says all she needs to know is they must eliminate all the enemies on the stage if they want to live. They enter the battlefield and find out that they will be fighting goblins. Upon seeing this, the rest of the party, save for Jenna and Han, went into a panic and took off running. As the goblin charges, Han and Jenna get ready for battle. It is at this point that we are given a little information on how these events came to pass. Pick Me Up was a mobile game where the goal of the game is to get to the 100th floor of the tower. In this game, you can create materials to make your hero stronger. You use strategy and tactics to clear the tower. Heroes are ranked from 1 to 7 stars. Unlike other games that are similar in nature, Pick Me Up has hardcore rules to it. If a character dies once they stay dead and can't be revived. Han was one such person that played this game. One day while playing the game, his entire party got annihilated before he could understand why. As he contemplates and looks at the screen, the boss looks directly at him and says, "I found you." Next thing he knows, he is in the game in the tutorial level fighting against a goblin. After defeating the tutorial, he realizes he is in the game. A new 4-star knight hero named Shay is summoned. Shay and Han enter the dungeon again, and Shay has no problem defeating the goblins. After the stage is over, the synthesis door is opened. In this room, one character is sacrificed to power up another character. With there being an overwhelming difference in their status, Han was convinced that he would be sacrificed to power up Shay. However, when he opened his eyes, that proved to not be the case. Instead, Shay was the one who was synthesized. It then cuts back to the current stage with Han and Jenna fighting against the goblins. They managed to defeat the first stage. During this time, it is revealed that the players have almost no control over the combat in the game. However, it is still popular because the player can watch over the game like a god. It is at this we discover that Han is the 5th ranking player in the game, known as Loki, the Master of Masters. After that, they return to the city the player controls. Knowing that he is easily disposable as a 1-star hero, Han began to spend all his time training to become stronger. While Han was training, Jenna walked up and expressed goodwill towards him. He then summons the fairy Izel to try to get her to answer questions. Although she insisted on not answering any questions, he was able to figure out some of the rules regarding her powers. She can only use her powers for self-defense or if the master's orders are disobeyed. He also discovers that there is a time difference between Earth and the game. The MC thinks about his time as a player. During this time, he noticed that there were differences between characters of the same rank, and that was because of their habits. While training doesn't increase the level, it does refine skill learning and skills in general, which is essential in becoming stronger. He spends the next 3 days training and learns 2 skills while doing so. On the 3rd day, the master appears and summons 2 new heroes to form a party. As they get prepared for the next floor, that is where our story really takes off. One thing that makes this webtoon so unique is the hardcore feeling of the story. It maintains the same intensity throughout the story since most of the power is taken away from the MC. The missions are high stakes, and while they play a part in how the overall mission may turn out, the ultimate deciding factor is the player who controls the game. Even if they as summoned characters did everything right, they are always in danger of losing their lives thanks to the ignorance of their master. The game has a steep learning curve, and the lack of knowledge on the art of the master can very quickly turn deadly. Couple that with the fact that when people are summoned to that world, they must quickly adapt to the situation to survive. The combination of an ignorant player and people who do little more than panic and die upon getting summoned created quite an interesting dynamic. They also do not always know what is required to solve the mission, as the scenarios are pulled from many possibilities. This adds another captivating aspect to the overall plot. This was a truly genius way to have the main characters and game knowledge be important to the story, but not making it too easy since he already has in-game experience. The knowledge Han has is more about game mechanics and ways of survival, and not necessarily about what the mission is and how to accomplish it. Overall, this webtoon is a delight to read. Thanks to the unique way it goes about telling its story, it feels like a new take on the game webtoon genre. It has an interesting plot, a diverse and likable cast of characters, and nice pacing. The art is also reminiscent of Solo Leveling, so it is relatively pleasing to the eye. For my 1 to 10 rating of this webtoon, I would give it a 9.2. If you like video games like The Darkest Dungeon or Fire Emblem with the permadeath function on, then this story will be right up your alley. If there is a manhwa, manga, or webtoon that you would like me to give an overview of, then put it in the comments below. And as always, if you like the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.